Who's pulling the strings? Daniel Dubois is now ranked second place in the WBO rankings, heavyweight rankings, in front of Joseph Parker, Kubrat Pulev, Andy Ruiz, Michael Hunter, Derek Chisora, even Joe Joyce, and even Filip Hrgovic. What has Daniel Dubois done to merit being ranked number 2 in the WBO? Is Frank Warren pulling the strings behind the scenes? Don't know if that is really the case, getting Daniel Dubois his ranking in number 2. A lot of people's gonna think that. We don't know for sure if it's definite that something like that has actually taken place, but you do know that, you know, Frank Warren does have a good relationship with the WBO, and is that why Daniel Dubois is now ranked number 2? I'm putting the question out there. We don't know if this is really the case or not, but for Daniel Dubois to be above the names I've mentioned, and Frank Warren now is talking about wanting to potentially match up Dubois against Alexander Usyk if Joshua vacates the WBO. What is that about? What is going on? How can Daniel Dubois be ranked above these men? Who has Daniel Dubois fought? Who has Daniel Dubois fought? If you guys can find me a name that he's fought that's better than the other guys I've mentioned, he's better than the guy. If Daniel Dubois has fought anybody that is better than the opponents the guys I've mentioned have fought, drop your comments in the comment section below and let me know, because we know for a fact Daniel Dubois hasn't fought anyone better than who Parker's fought. Parker, that's at least he beat Andy Ruiz to get the WBO, you know, former WBO champion. Pulev beating guys like Hughie Fury, you know, had another good string of wins on his resume as well. Andy Ruiz beaten Andy Ruiz, no, how can I say Andy Ruiz beating Andy Ruiz, who beat Anthony Joshua to become a unified heavyweight champion. Actually picked up the WBO in the process, even though he lost AJ in the rematch. Michael Hunter beating guys like Sergey Kuzmin, you know, and drew with Alexander Povetkin. We know about Derek Chisora. You know, Joe Joyce beating guys like Ustinov, Stavern former WBC champion, better than anyone that Daniel Dubois has fought. You know, Hrgovic coming through now, beat Eric Molina. Eric Molina is better than anyone that Daniel Dubois fought. So how on earth is Daniel Dubois now ranked number 2 in the WBO? Absolute nonsense. Absolutely ridiculous. Don't know how he ended up being there. Doesn't make any sense to me. And is Daniel Dubois now being set up to fail? Because Anthony Yarde, you know, who did Anthony Yarde fight before he fought Kovalev? You know, and if Anthony Yarde had those pre-fights, those better fights before fighting Kovalev, you know, would Anthony Yarde have done better against Kovalev? I think he could potentially stopped him if he had learned, you know, by fighting better opponents, learned, you know, how to get into the trenches, how to survive, you know, how to pace himself. He could have probably done better against Kovalev, potentially stopped him, in my opinion. Is there gonna be a similar scenario with Daniel Dubois? Because Frank Usyk putting Dubois in there with Usyk, I don't think Dubois has the experience. Usyk, that's the Olympics, the World Series of Boxing, fighting world class cruiserweight champion. Dubois, relatively, apart from he hasn't fought anyone of note. He's basically 15-0 novice. You know, don't be fooled by these knockouts of these milkmans like Fujimoto and Ebenezer Tete. These guys can't fight. Dubois could have been. Why hasn't Dubois been put in with someone at least like even a Schwartz is better than any guy that Dubois fought before now. Now he's gonna fight Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce himself has more experience than Daniel Dubois. He's fought former champions before. He's fought even Brian Jennings before. Some people think Brian Jennings might have won that fight, but at least he's beaten on his resume. It says he's beaten Brian Jennings. Brian Jennings, Stavern, and Ustinov are better than anyone Dubois fought. Those 3 guys that Joe Joyce has fought are better than anyone Daniel Dubois fought. So experience-wise, you know, and Joe Joyce been in the Olympics. He's coming in with a lot of pedigree coming in to fight Daniel Dubois. And this fight against Joe Joyce and Dubois is really going to show if Dubois is as good as people make him out to be. Stylistically, people are going to think that, you know, Dubois has an opportunity to knock someone like Joe Joyce out, who's, you know, relatively slow, easy to hit. But Dubois looked relatively slow against that Schneider's guy. He didn't look very quick. You know, Joe Joyce, that knows how to go into trenches, tough man, the juggernaut they call him. This is going to be a sink or swim for Dubois to know if he's really ready for the big time. Because if he's struggling with if he's getting knocked down and he's struggling and he loses to someone like Joe Joyce, maybe he might end up back at York Hall shows like Joe Joyce said. We don't know. But maybe Daniel Dubois might be that guy that can go in there, not him, Joe Joyce, fight him out, and maybe he could get to the top and take out the big guys and become unified or undisputed heavyweight champion. We don't know. Obviously, Dubois is a big name for the future, no doubt about that. Out of all the young fighters, he's definitely one of the most dangerous. Big shots, you know, power, both hands. You know, he can knock out guys, but we need to see how his power fares against the elite guys. He's only fighting these guys that ain't got no chin, guys that getting rocked by a jab. When Daniel Dubois fought that guy, what's his name? Richard Lartey. You know, we saw Richard Lartey catch Dubois with a shot. His legs, you know, kind of span him around. You know, I want to see Daniel Dubois get caught with big shots by someone we know can punch, or any kind of elite opponent. I still think Daniel Dubois is an unknown quantity, similar to the Nigerian fight F.A. Jagbar. We haven't seen them against the better opponents to know how good they really are, because most guys can look good against journeymans, milkmans, you know, and these taxi drivers, but can they look good against the guys who know how to fight, who know how to get to trenches, who will get off the canvas if you drop them? Let's wait and see what happens. So drop your comments in the comment section below. What do you think about Daniel Dubois being ranked second in the WBO? Is this a fraud? What's going on? Can Daniel Dubois beat someone like Alexander Usyk with the skills? Usyk, for me, he's fought loads of guys, amateur experience, Olympic experience, cruiserweight. He's fought many guys like Dubois, sparred many guys like Dubois. You know, even Vladimir Klitschko, you know, he gave Vladimir Klitschko a tough time in sparring. You know, is it in the trenches with someone like Alexander Usyk so early without that experience? You know, drop your comments in the comment section below. What do you think about what I've said? What do you think about Daniel Dubois being second in WBO? Is this been set up for Daniel Dubois to fail? Or can Daniel Dubois shock everyone, knock out Joe Joyce in devastating fashion, go on, become undisputed heavyweight champion, potentially in the future, and become a legend in British boxing? Drop your comments in the comment section below. Let me see what you guys think. Cool.